Imagine this for a second. What if, throughout all of human history, there had been no wars? No battles, no invasions, no conquests, just one big, peaceful planet where everyone got along. Sounds like a utopia, right? But let's dig a little deeper into this thought experiment because, well, humans are complicated creatures. We're not exactly known for keeping things simple, so what would have happened if we never fought? First off, cities would look very different. A lot of our greatest cities, Rome, Athens, Berlin, were built and rebuilt because someone came and knocked them down during a war. If no one was swinging swords or dropping bombs, would we have even bothered with the walls, fortresses, or bunkers? Probably not. Instead, cities might be full of beautiful parks, open plazas, and endless coffee shops where people sit and sip peacefully without a care in the world. Okay, but let's talk innovation. Here's the funny thing. War, despite being terrible, has fueled a lot of technological advances. Think about it. GPS? That's thanks to military tech. The internet? Same story. Heck, even canned food started as a way to feed soldiers. Without wars, we'd probably still be trying to figure out how to store leftover pizza. And don't get me started on airplanes. In a war-free world, would anyone have thought, hey, let's build a giant metal tube, throw some wings on it, and see if we can fly across the ocean? I mean, maybe, but it might have taken a bit longer. We'd all still be riding horses everywhere, waving at each other from across fields like, hey neighbor, see you next week after my 200-mile journey to town. But let's also be real. If there were no wars, a lot of conflicts would have still happened. They just would have taken different forms. Instead of sword fights or epic battles, maybe we'd have really intense sports rivalries, or better yet, massive thumb wrestling competitions to settle things. I can just picture it, a world summit where two leaders settle a trade dispute over a best-of-3 thumb wrestling match. No casualties, just sore thumbs. Now some people might argue that without war, we'd have more time and resources to focus on the better things in life, like curing diseases, improving education, and building a perfect society. And sure, that sounds great, but let's not kid ourselves. Humans are humans. We'd probably still find ways to mess things up, like arguing over whether pineapple belongs on pizza. Spoiler, it absolutely does. But that's a topic for another day. But here's the kicker. Without war, our sense of history would be completely different. Think about all those history lessons you sat through in school. How many of them were about wars? Without those epic battles, your high school history class would have been like half the length. No World War II, no Cold War, no medieval crusades. You could have finished history class early and spent more time in gym class, assuming you weren't stuck in thumb wrestling tournaments. Now don't get me wrong, war is a terrible thing, but it's also shaped the world we live in. Without it, we'd probably have a much more peaceful world, but it might also be a little less exciting. Would we have stories of heroic leaders, or would we all just be sitting around the campfire, telling tales of the Great Bake-Off of 1823? So what's the takeaway here? A world without war would have been peaceful, but also slower in development, less innovative, and potentially a little more boring. But hey, at least we'd all have perfect lawns and get along better with our neighbors. Maybe. And while we're on the subject of making the world a better place, why not check the description for some products that can help you improve your own little corner of the world? You might not be able to stop global conflicts, but you can definitely get some cool stuff to make your life a little more peaceful. Take a look, and who knows, you might find something perfect for you.